Hello, welcome to my property buying series. My name is Lize Okoh. I'm a multidisciplinary artist based in London. I recently bought a mid-terrace two-bedroom property, and in today's video, I'll be sharing all the other financial investments I had to make once my offer was accepted. So once my offer was accepted and I started the whole process with my solicitor, surveyor, and all of that, if you'd like to know what I'm talking about and you haven't watched it yet, go check this video up, which I'll link up above, from last week where I talked about the whole legal process. So the first thing I had to think about was having life insurance as well as income protection. And so now I'm sure everyone knows what life insurance is, especially when you're making such a big purchase as a property. It's advised to get it because if you have kids or dependents and anything happened to you, they wouldn't lose the property. That life insurance, the premium will cover the cost of the property and some other things as well, depending on what you go for. And so the other thing was income protection. So now income protection, if you're a business owner, is something I should have already had. And interestingly enough, I had sometimes always thought about, oh my gosh, if anything happened to me and I couldn't do my photography business, what's gonna happen if I fell ill or whatever. But for some whatever reason, I had that question, but I didn't go and find a solution to that. I didn't go and find an answer. So anyway, during this process, Emma was like, yeah, as a business owner, you do really want income protection. And because income protection protects you from like illness, and they're the ones that cover any illness. So even if it's cancer or any of those like really degenerative illnesses, it covers it. And so anyway, I didn't go for life insurance personally because I have no kids, I have no dependents really. So I don't just want to pay for something that's not going to be useful. Like if I'm to pass away, the property, if it's sold, whatever assets I have, that can be sold, that can be shared between my siblings. I'm not looking to get pay extra cover. Anyway, that aside, so the other thing I had to look into then was income protection. So if God forbid anything happens and I'm ill, cannot work for a period of time, at least there's money coming in covering my mortgage and covering my expenses. And so because I am not just self-employed, I actually have a limited company. I went for something called an executive income protection. And so executive income protection really just, I'm sure there's maybe some nitty-gritties, but just to make it like really simple, it means that that income protection will be paid by my company. So it's not coming out of my pocket. It's the company is paying for me to be insured because as the worker in the company, if anything happens to me, it has to pay me a salary. And so that salary will be tax free. And it's that salary I'll then be able to use to pay for my mortgage, pay for my food, pay for, utilities and all of that. And so I definitely recommend, if you're buying a property, decide if you want life insurance and income protection. I mean, if you're working 9 to 5, you probably don't need income protection, but I would like to think you need life insurance. But if you're a business owner, and since this channel is all about being a photographer and an artist, I'm guessing more people are probably self-employed, please do get income protection. So even if you're only registered as a sole trader, you can still get income protection. But being a sole trader, what it basically means is the money will come out of your pocket because you're trading as yourself. But if you're have a limited company, the money doesn't have to come out of your own account, it comes out of your business's account. So if you would like to know some of the advantages and disadvantages of being a sole trader or a limited company, click this button, put it in another tab and watch it after this video. I talked about those, differences between sole trader and limited. And so another thing to know about income protection is you can decide how much you want to be covered for. And so when Emma sent me like the details of someone who deals with life insurance income, because it's such a specialist service, so she recommended someone as well, which is amazing. I didn't have to do all that legwork myself. Anyway, so they'll go through like, what are your expenditures? what do you pay for, blah blah blah. So you basically calculate your costs of like for you, like what costs are you living, and then they'll be able to calculate and look at their system and see how much you'd have to pay monthly. And so I think initially I was trying to look like I don't want to be paying more than £100 monthly, but your age also factors in. So now the younger you do it, the cheaper the rate would be. And at the time it was just a week before my birthday we were doing it, but due to some things here and there, I didn't end up doing it until like 2 days after my birthday, and then premium went up. So I think I'm paying 106 or something like that anyway, so not too much. Another thing to know about the income protection is you can also state when you want that to kick in. And the longer you wait for it to kick in, the also cheaper your premium would be. So for example, if you wanted it to be like, let's say you fell ill today, a month later, they start paying you that money, or you want 3 months later. So basically, let's say if you fell ill and you wanted them to start paying you that money 3 months later, um, yours will be cheaper than someone who wants to get paid a month after. Anyway, I chose a month after. Hopefully, by God's grace, I never fall ill or something where I have to be off of work for a month. But if that was the case, after a month, I do have savings and stuff that would help me for that initial month, and then moving on, that will kick in. So in today's world, like things are so different from how it used to be. People are getting ill. You never know. So it's good to have this income protection. Another thing I had to think about once my offer was accepted was home insurance. And in fact, you would not be able to exchange without a home insurance, because it's one of the things you have to send to your solicitor before you sign the contracts and all of that. And so Emma again gave me like some different rates and stuff, but the home insurance, I just thought, oh, this is something I can do myself. So I actually just went online, searched on, I think it must have been Money Supermarket, one of those websites that are really well reputable in the UK, and sort of just put in my own details and all of that. And it gave me different rates for home insurance, and I chose the one I wanted to go for. And so once you have your exchange date is when you'll be able to apply for home insurance, and that's because you need the home insurance to start from that. Once you know your completion date, actually, sorry, I should have said, because you need the insurance to start from that completion date. Because once you have that property, it has to be insured. The bank giving you the mortgage wants to like make sure their investment is also being secure, and so that's why they require that. Also, another thing you want to be thinking about once your exchange date has been agreed upon, is like council tax, utility bills, those sort of things. So again, my solicitors, they were amazing in this whole process, and they basically sent me an email with a PDF that had all the things I should start thinking about, like arranging my moving date. Council tax was important because where I was renting, I then closed my account with that borough and signed on my account with the new borough, because again, once you own that property, you need to start paying. Even if you're in your old property, you need to start paying for your new property, so you're not going to lag behind and have charges. And because I knew there would be an overlap between my current place and the new place, when I was saving as well, it was important for me to save more than my deposit. So next week I'll be talking about everything it costs and how I was able to save. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. But basically, council tax, electricity bill, broadband, water, all the utilities and services, I went back, logged into my accounts, and basically they ask you, there's a questionnaire where you tell them the date you'll be moving out, and so they'll then do their calculations and give you an updated balance for what will be left to pay. And then in the new place as well, you sign up to all the services as well, and so you can start paying, and you're not going to be owing anybody money, or nobody is going to be owing you money. So for my utilities, like the electricity, gas, broadband, and my mobile, I actually decided to go with Utility Warehouse. So Utility Warehouse is like a service company I'd heard about, and heard about how their rates are much cheaper and much better than just having your bills with individual companies. And so when I did the research and found that I would be paying 100 and something pounds for all 4 services. I was like, what? Because I'm paying, and think about winter months are very expensive. In my winter months with Eon, I was paying over £200 per month. And this company is telling me for 4 services, I'll be paying 100 and something. I was like, sign me up. So I signed up. And so if you'd like to know more about Utility Warehouse, I've left their link down in my description box. I also have a referral code. Make sure you use it because you get £50 off. I get £50 off as well. So there's more about Utility Warehouse. They basically have different things and points that can help you reduce your bills monthly. So I definitely recommend checking it out. You don't have to be a new home buyer, even if where you're living, where you're renting right now, if you feel like your gas and electricity is too expensive, then I definitely say check out Utility Warehouse. Then one of the last things I also had to do once I had my completion date was to start to reroute all my emails. So things like my bank account, my driver's license, the subscriptions I had in different places, making sure I'm changing my address in all those places because I didn't want there to be an overlap where now I'm in my new property, but some important documents are being sent to my old place I no longer have access to. So make sure you start to change all of that as well. And then finally, signing up to a new GP local to myself. I was currently living in Hackney. No way am I wanting to travel all the way to Hackney for appointments. And so I had to register with a new GP where I am. So those were sort of like all the things I had to do. Okay, so that's it for this video. If you have any questions that I haven't answered about income protection or executive income protection, leave them down in the comments and I'll answer as best as I can, or I'll send you to resources that'll be more helpful. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's giving you food for thought about things to expect when buying a property. It's not just saving for your deposits, there's a whole other things to save for as well. And in coming videos, I'll break everything down for you so you sort of know what it is right now in the market. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Next week, I'll be showing you how my moving day went, how I was able to get my full deposit back from my landlord, as well as interest. Yes. Have you ever gotten full deposit back from renting and interest? I'm not joking. And I'm not just like, it's not clickbait. Literally, I did get interest. Anyway, that'll be coming next week. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next week. Bye.